Hey, bonsai, my peeps. It's Saturday, and this is not a workout video. This is an extra. We're going to do something a little different today. One of the issues I've had is I keep my stuff just kind of sitting on the thing here and in the corner. I'm tired of that. I want to build a shelf. I've seen a lot of other people make hanging shelves. Tonal sells one for a ridiculous $250, $500. I don't know what it is. But today I'm going to make one, and I'm going to share how I do it. And I'm going to show you how to make it for less than 30 bucks. Okay? So let's get started. Right here in my garage, pardon the mess, I'm always out here making stuff. So there is sawdust and tools everywhere. But the first thing I did, ordered these clips. There's I think it's a father and son company who make these specific tonal clips. They're 20 bucks, I think. I think that's what I paid for them. Yeah, I don't think the receipt's in here, but it's like 20 bucks delivered. And they give you 4 clips and a bag of screws. I don't know if anybody else sells these. They're 3D printed. It's a family business, so 20 bucks is worth the risk. Then I went to my local box store, hardware. I got 2 of these. In my case, they are 3x10s, and they were like 4 bucks a piece. So 8 bucks there, 20, we'll say 10. So 30 bucks, less than 30 bucks do I have invested into the parts on this. Labor and my time and all that, yeah, of course that's going to be more, but we're not counting that because this is a fun project. So now I'm going to get started building this, and I'll show you how I do it. Alright, the first thing I had to do was trim the boards down to 7 inches for the width, and I only show one, but I obviously trim both down. And then I take them over to the miter saw and chop them down to 24 inches in length. 7x24 inch shelf. So you could do all of this with just a circular saw. Once I've got all the pieces cut, I'm going to do a dry fit. And I use the extra cutoffs as the side rails. And I was pretty happy. Everything came out just about right. Didn't have to make a lot of adjustments. Now I'm measuring the inside so I can get the 2 end pieces. Measuring those out. And then chopping them down to size. Take them back over and just make sure everything's fitting in good. I don't feel like I need a super tight, seamless fit, because this is just a shelf for the workout room to hold the tonal accessories, so they're not spread out all over the room. They're organized a little bit. And the nice thing is, at this point, everything is going smooth. My plan is working just fine. It's not until I think, hey, I can improve on this and make it better, and then start screwing things up. Yeah, I had to trim the boards down just a little bit more to make sure they fit, because there was a little bit of an overhang, which is why you always check twice before you put anything together. And everything lines up really nice. Like I said, at this point everything's going really well. I go through and sand everything. Bring it all dark stain it. And here I'm trying to figure out where I want to hang it. So just put some blue painter's tape on the wall about the height that I think I want the shelf to be. And then we'll go through with the stud finder and mark the studs out. It's in a bit of an awkward position because it goes right up to the corner, but that's where we decided to put it. The way I like to do this is, come in from one direction and mark once the stud finder goes off, and then I come back from the other direction and mark again, and then I aim for right in between those marks. I do this on both sides. With the painter's tape, I'm able to mark right into the wall and not worry about anything. Studs seem to be 16 inches apart, so it's just an odd place. But fortunately, the shelf doesn't really have to hold a whole lot of weight. And I feel pretty good about where this is at now. So it's time to move on to the next step. I forgot to hit record, but I tried to do something I thought was clever, in that I took one of the side rails here, I ran it through the bandsaw and thinned it. So you can see I took a little less than a quarter of an inch off, about a quarter of an inch off of it. And I thought, okay, that'll give me, the board will be thinner so that my screws will get more bite onto the 2x4 behind. But I didn't think it through. I had already measured with the full thickness for my side pieces here. So I had to go back and cut a couple shims. And once I get those glued on, it'll fit together good enough. So we're to the point now where I'm going to have to glue everything up and then stain it. So, yeah, that's it. We're going to start gluing and staining, and then we're going to hang it. And we're going to have this project done today. So, we'll see you in a minute. Now we're going to go through and just start gluing everything together. I use Titebond 3. That's just the glue I prefer to use on most of my projects. It's supposed to have a little bit more outdoor water resistance and such. So there's the pieces, and I glued the bottom, the top and the two side rails and the two end pieces. I glued all that together. Yeah, I just typically use my fingers, wipe it off. I didn't worry about putting screws in the shelf itself. The glue is going to hold it tight enough. Once this glue sets and holds, good luck getting it apart. And that was one of the things I kind of messed up on. When I have to take this shelf down eventually, which I'm sure I will, it's not going to be fun. I should have screwed on the bottom piece or one of the side pieces, that way I could get in there and remove the screws, but it is what it is. What I'll probably end up doing is destroying the shelf and actually using a Sawzall or something like that and just cutting the front off and then going in and remove it, because I can make another one of these shelves, no problem. Hey, I found another use for free weights. I've always used these to hold things down, and I do put clamps on both sides, and this is squaring it up and holding it all together, and then I let it set for about 30 minutes. And then I go and work on the bottom for where the little clips will go. Like I said, it's a 7-inch board, so I measure out 3.5 inches. And then I wanted to measure in 3 inches on both sides before I put the first clip, and then they are, I think, 4.5 apart, so they would be more or less equally spaced. I love this little edge ruler. It has come in very handy. And just drawing lines to mark everything. I'm not worried about the lines on the board because I will go back and sand it and it will make all the lines disappear. Measuring the inside distance so I can space the pieces out so they'll be more or less equal. Doing the math in my head takes me a few minutes. And we just start placing the clips. I picked blue because our wall in there is blue, so I thought they'd match in a little bit. Once I have those spaced out about where I want, we're going to draw another line. I decide, well, what's the best way to do this? Nope, none of these things. We'll get the big T-square. Which, of course, I didn't have right on me. I had to go get it. It hangs on the wall in its own spot. Line up and nice level line right across. And then, even though you can't see it, I've got some rough marks on the board where to put those. I'm just marking the screw holes. Measure it from the clip hole to the center of the next clip hole. Minor adjustment to get it just right. And mark the holes again. Once I had them all in there marked, pre-drill the holes. Just going about. Makes it easier to get the screws in and plenty to bite onto. Now here's where things start going wrong. I glued the inside piece on upside down, so it didn't line up with the holes that I had pre-drilled. So I had to go in and make new ones, and I did that okay. It'll work. The shelf has a slight tilt. It's not 100% level. I'm disappointed in that. It's not as bad as it looks in the video, but it is not 100% perfectly level. And it was a bear getting these screws in. What I should have done is put the top and bottom and left the outside rail off. And then using the extension, I could use my cordless drill and just zip those in there. It would have been a much smarter way of doing it. But you learn the hard way sometimes. I was able, using a ratchet, to finally get the screws in there, but it took me a while. That was definitely the hardest part of this whole thing. So if you're going to make your own, I suggest having something on the front. And I would suggest screwing the front in with screws, not gluing. That way you can take it off easy and you can remove and get the shelf on and off a lot easier. Like I said, I'm going to have to destroy mine to get it off of there, which means it's not coming off anytime soon. But I did get it on there. And there it is, all hung up. Got all the pieces on here. Ta-da! Thanks for watching.